What's happening, folks? I'm Mitch Smith. Welcome to another episode of Thursday Night Theory. All right, so tonight what we're going to do is a real quick lesson on the really interesting correlation between the guitar, the circle of fifths, and the caged system. All right, now I know we haven't really talked much about the caged system. We may more in the future, but we have talked about the guitar-friendly keys, which are C, A, G, E, and D. So there's something interesting going on there with the circle of fifths and the way a standard guitar is tuned. So first, let's identify a C on the second string, first fret. Now, C is kind of its own thing. It doesn't have any sharps or flats, and it's kind of, when you think of a piano students, the first thing they learn is middle C, okay? So this C right here is where we're going to start, okay? And we've learned in previous Thursday night theories that the C major scale starts here because that's the root note of our C chord, right? So the circle of fifths goes by what is the fifth of whatever note you start with. So C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is that note? C, D, E, F, G. So the fifth of C is G. We're just going to come this way up one string. On the guitar, that string open is G. Okay? So if we're looking for the fifth of that note, it's G there. So if you know how the guitar is tuned, a lot of us use electronic tuners these days, but we used to tune from the fifth fret. And once you would get to the second and third string, you'd have to come to the fourth fret. So for that reason, you come up a string, but you're also off one fret. If we looked at C here, and we wanted to come up a string to find G, we would stay on the same fret. And that would be your fifth. Okay? So, let's just take it a step further. What is the fifth of G? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or G, A, B, C, D. All right. So we got the third string open as G. We're just going to bring it this way, one string. It's D. That's our D string. So that's our fifth. So we had C. Come this way a string, and we have to move the fret because of the tuning. That's its fifth, which is G. So now G, what's its fifth? D. We just came that way a string. So you see where we're going with this. What do you think the fifth of D is going to be? D, E, F, G, A. Or is it technically D, E, F sharp, G, A. So it's A. So our open D string is here. Come this way a string. What do we got? A. If we had our D here, come that way a string. It's A. All right. Now let's find the fifth of A. A, B, C, D, E. Or technically A, B, C sharp, D, E. And we should know by now that our fifth string open is A. Bring it this way a string, E. So there's every string follows that circle of fifths. If we start with C, up a string to G, up a string to D, up a string to A, up a string to E. Now we're out of notes that way, but our E string here is open, our first string E. So if we can come up a string from that, and what do we have? B. So the fifth of E is B. Let's test that. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. That's the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or we could, yeah, wherever you find that. So the fifth of E is B. So that checks out. Now that's as far as we are really going to go on that tonight. We could go on further into the F sharp and then the C sharp and such. The actual circle of fifth goes that far. But what I found is interesting on guitar is that it follows that circle of fifths in the tuning, and those consequently are your guitar-friendly keys. What did we have? C and all the other open strings, which are A, G, E, D. Okay, so that's no accident that those are our, what I call guitar-friendly keys. You can play those open strings, and we know the bass sometimes bounces back and forth between that root and fifth. So if I'm in an A chord and I want to bounce that bass, see, I've got both of those strings open. And if I wanted to use my bass note and maybe play out of the scale, go to my 4 chord, five chord, so that works out great for the guitar. And when we're in our other keys like G, C, so if I'm in G, what's the 5? D. If I'm in C, what's the 5? G. It's easy to find. So if, let's just look at some of those. If I'm in, let's start with C, because that's the one. If that's my root note, I just come that way, I can find my 5 chord. And a previous Thursday Night Theory taught you that 5 can be a dominant chord sometime. Makes it want to resolve. Okay, what would be next? A. Alright, so if my 5th string open is A, I go to the E to find the 5. Make it a 7. Dominant. And next, following our acronym CAGED, we had C, we got A, now we're on G. Okay, so now we don't have a string to come down to, but again, we can come to this G here. And if you know that that's D, that's helpful, but you may just have to make a mental note that there's G and there's D. Okay, what would be next in our acronym? E. Same situation here. We don't have a string this way to go down to, so we can come from this open E. And we know that second string is B. So. And then lastly, in our acronym, we did C, A, G, E. Now we're going to do D. And that's an easy one. Our 4th string open is our root note. Just move that up a string. A. Now make it an A7 to make it a dominant chord. And there's all kind of neat things you can think about when you're correlating things like this, because in our circle of fifths, we also can look at our key signatures and look at the progression of sharps within that. And if we follow this order, C, G, D, A, E, and then B, C we said has no sharps or flats, G has 1, D has 2, A has 3, E has 4, and B has 5. So there are all kind of neat little things you can do with that. But I just wanted to kind of show you that neat correlation that you can use your guitar to help you learn the circle of fifths and vice versa. If you know the circle of fifths, you can use it to help you learn the names of the strings of your guitar. And what can you do with this? It just makes it easy to identify your 5 chord. If you're in a song and you're looking for the 5 chord, makes it very easy to identify, okay? And again, any knowledge you gain of the fretboard and how it all correlates and all fits together makes you a better guitar player, because this is true all over. Say you're doing a lead up here and you know that it's a 1 and 5 chord. Let's just say it's in A. That way we got our bass note here. All right, and I'm doing some lead stuff in A. And I know it's going to go to the 5 chord. Then I know how to find that. I know how to find. Now that might have been a poor example because I had to be on the string that's tuned different, but let's look at it right here. Okay, so that's just a little example of how you can mentally use this to make yourself a better guitar player. That's all I've got for you tonight, okay? I know that was a very short lesson. There's not a lot of ear training tonight, but just let that kind of sink in and let yourself kind of think about these open strings and how those patterns when you're looking for your 5 chord, because this is going to help you change key too. If you're doing something in the key of C and it uses C and G, and you need to move it somewhere, let's say you need to move it up a whole step, then you know you've got D. Okay? All right, so thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful, and we will do another one next week, and we'll try to get a little more ear training going on that one. So, all right, thanks. Have a good weekend, and make sure you like, subscribe, ask me questions, give me suggestions. Thanks.